That's cool. Hello everybody. We're back for part 3 of making our game. Hopefully, by the end of today, we'll have a more clear idea of uh, the how the game unfolds and what the challenges are going to be at each of the different stages. So let me kind of do a quick overview of what we have so far. So you are a mystical traveler. So this part right here, you're a mystical traveler. You go to different realms, like astral travel, and you happen to um, uh, enter this realm that you haven't been to yet, and for some reason you can't go back home, like you can't leave it. So you need to figure out why you're stuck there. And so uh, in the beginning, you're gonna be in this kind of wilderness. You're gonna be lost. You don't know what's going on, and at some point you're gonna find this planet chakra. It's gonna be the green chakra. It's gonna be the first one you find. You're going to activate it, and that's gonna kind of suggest to you that maybe there's more of them to activate. And that's kind of how you get home. And then when you activate all 7 of them, there's going to be a portal that activates, and you can just go home. So for each chakra that you unlock, you will get a special ability. So for example, for the 3rd chakra, you'll be able to double jump. The 5th one, you can levitate. The seventh one is the last one, so you don't really need the superpower because you just go home. For the 2nd one, you're going to start to be able to build things. That's something that we already have in our game. So let me show what that looks like. So right now I can build relays. We have these chi sources, and here it's this kind of natural occurring source in the soil, these little blue crystals. And there are 2 ways you can transmit this chi. You can kind of get powered up by it when you approach. That's why your hair kind of turns blue and your hair turns white and your eyes turn blue. And you have it for a second, but as soon as you leave that area, you lose it. But if you get somewhere that needs this energy, like this door, then the door will open up. So if I go immediately here, boom, I powered up the door kind of with myself, with my energy, and I took the crystal. And the crystals you can use to build different things. For example, I can build these relays. And right now I can go into negative crystals, and that's okay. And if I connect the relays, then they also get powered up, and the power is transmitted through them. And what just happened is that it was the power source, and then I was here, and so the power went through me into the relay, and then through the relay. And right now we have it so once anything is powered on, it just stays powered on, even if it's disconnected from the power source. And I think there is an interesting puzzle that we can do with that. That's why I'm leaving it on. But if later in the game that doesn't make sense to us, then maybe we'll change it. So okay, so the very first thing I want to do is actually something I mentioned last time. Is I want to be able to go to our map. Let's start a new area. Say right here. Maybe actually just a little higher. Right here in the middle of the map, kind of close to where I'm going to be finding the first chakra. put on some basic ground. I don't know, some rocks. And I'm going to place my character right here. And I'm going to write the script to find the sprite on the map, and that's going to be our spawning point. Because right now we have to hard code um, player X location right here, and that's just too cumbersome. And as we build the map, we'll want to spawn on different points on the map to just explore it and debug it much easier. So let me do that right now. Find, we locate player. So I'm not going to do this, but we'll locate the player. And it's actually going to look something like this, where we just iterate locate player. What editor am I using? This is called PICO-8. So it's a little tiny editor. It is very difficult to read. It is 128 by 128 pixels. So that is all you get. That's all you ever need. I don't know why anybody would want more. It's kind of meant to resemble an old Nintendo console. Yeah, I don't think it's hurting yourself as much as it's limiting yourself so that you kind of have to be more creative. So one thing that I actually haven't mentioned is that the editor also limits how much code you can have. So the idea behind it is, back in the old days, you used to have the little cartridges that you buy, right? And you buy the cartridge and you plug it in to your, game system and you play. And so those cartridges used to be very, very tiny, like a few kilobytes. And you had to, as a game creator, you had to work really hard to put your code and your music and your art all in this tiny memory. And there were a lot of creative and insane things that people did to make it happen. Um, so this is kind of meant to bring back that feeling and really constrain the game developer. But in constraining them, you kind of push them to be more creative and more, I guess, original. Um, I kind of find it liberating almost because right now, if you wanted to build a game, you can build any game with things like Unity and um, all these other editors. And right now, they have asset packs that you can download. So within 10 minutes, you can have like almost a role-playing game like already made, and it just feels almost too much. Where this feels very um, understandable, and you can read the manual in like under an hour. So it's very, very manageable. Okay, so where were we? Player, right? We're gonna have our player sprite. It's 001. Uh, all the sprites, by the way, are just placeholders right now. So I'm not worried too much about the art. Um, I'm trying to make things clear in terms of like which things have chi and can transmit chi. That's the kind of blue, white scheme that comes up. But all the art will be replaced um, later. So we have our player, that's sprite 1. And we actually need to do, let's move all the sprites up higher because we actually need the sprite values to locate the player. So maybe just right here. Right, okay, so locate the player, we need to find this sprite player. So we go through all the map cells, get the sprite. If this is our sprite, then px, so convert the map coordinate into pixel coordinate. And we also now need to erase the cell. So mset mx and y. I forget what's the order? mset xy value. Okay, so the value comes last. And we're gonna reset it. So now we should spawn there. Oh, and the thing that just happened is our camera, let's see, where do we set the camera? We set it right here. EXPY. Actually, this already takes should take our position into location. So I'm not sure why it's moving like that. Hit player. Well, let's see where are we using our camera? Here. So EXCY. EX. We have CX that we more dragons, please. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have any dragons here. I'm sorry to say that. So far, I'm not planning to have any, other than kind of plants and flowers. I'm not planning to have any like monsters or anything. But if you can come up with a plausible reason for why there should be a dragon in this game, right now there is 0 dragons. But if you can come up with a plausible reason for why there should be dragons in the game, then I'm very very happy to consider it. I guess actually it's funny that you say that because she like I searched for this earlier. There was this on Wikipedia, I think. Chi in Chinese, I think, means a dragon. Where was I? Definitely saw this earlier. Let's see. Oh, I think it was spelled like this. Chi. So different spelling, but pronounced the same. Dragon. Yeah. So Chi in Chinese mythology means a hornless dragon or a mountain demon. Common motif in ancient Chinese art. Dun, dun, dun. So somebody suggesting that once you get all the chakras, you enter the dragon realm, kind of like the secret cow realm in Diablo. Um, maybe that's interesting. It's kind of, so instead of going home directly, you go into this different space, and you have to fight. You basically have to kind of fight or encounter this kind of gatekeeper, right? Portal keeper. Um, okay, I think that's a decent idea. Let's add it. Let's add it to our wish list. Um, it's something that will require a lot of additional coding that we don't have right now in the game. But if we start thinking about it right now, maybe we can um, find a way to implement the dragon that meshes well with our game. or at the very least, if we have to implement this whole dragon, maybe we can also take parts of that code and reuse them in other parts of the game. So dragon, like end game dragon. Okay, let's see, where were we? We have this bug with the camera. What is going on here? Um, good. UI, target UI. Hmm. I'm confused why this is happening. Let's debug this. And CY to CX. CY target CY. Okay, so X value is correct. Target CY is correct. So CY starts off correctly. What's going on here? Max of 0, minimum. Have I tried coding faster? Yeah, sometimes I'm surprised by how long some basic things take me. There was one very helpful person last stream that helped me with a bug, so that saved some time. So if right now, if you see why I'm having the bug, you can tell me, and then we can save some time and get to more interesting things. Um, Wait, what is this thing? Oh, that's okay. That's just limits map height times 8. Um, Hope it's not just being reset somewhere randomly for no reason. I don't think so. This is the only place we're setting it. See why. Well, at the very least, our code is working. Finds us on the map. Let's see why. All right, it's fine. Fix it some other time. Okay, so this is where we're gonna start. So I said I want some more green things, so let's add a little plant. Add a little pretty plant. This. Make it what color should we make the plant? Pink, red, orange. Yeah, something like this. Let's see. So let's put it. Red. So we like red and we like orange. Let's do then red petals. So we have this little flower. Oh, now we fall down. And we have our other part of the map under us. So what do I want? So I want a little. How do I decide where to place it? Right now I'm just placing it. Right now I'm just kind of getting the feel for um, what I want. So there's two parts to the editor. There's the sprite editor. This so in the bottom here is my sprite sheet, and so I can go to any sprite and I can edit it pixel by pixel. And then there is the map editor, so I can like zoom out here and scroll and like here are the different parts that we placed, and I can put my tiles here. Then they show up in the game. Yeah, exactly like Warcraft 3 map editor. I mean, to be fair, I had the idea first, and I think they took it from me. So uh, okay, so we have these flowers. So one thing I want to add is um, kind of a bit of danger, right? So you should feel that not only is this kind of alien planet, but it's also like a bit dangerous. So I think we can do this with plants. So what if there's this kind of uh, ceiling, and what if these plants kind of transform when you approach them, and they can bite you? So I think this is where actually the red petals are gonna come in pretty handy. So as you approach it, it's actually gonna kind of mutate to something like this. Um, how do I want to do this? Something like this, maybe. I don't know. Does this look dangerous? And it looks very abstract right now. I like to make it look like teeth. Uh, like this. Yeah, like white for teeth. Um, like this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Good call. Yeah, so let's see what that looks like. I place one here, right? So here we have to jump over it. Oh, and presumably, if we touch it, we die. And then, yeah, we would approach it, and it would change, and it would be like dangerous looking. Okay, that's kind of interesting, right? So, uh, when the player starts the game, they're in this world, they're like, oh, okay, kind of, I know what to do. I move around. Oh, there's pretty flowers, and you approach it, and it's like, and it just bites you. And potentially, maybe later we can make it so like it bites you even if you like not touching it. Like if you just close enough, it like kind of reaches out and bites you. Um, so that kind of adds uh, a little bit of that natural feeling, a little bit of danger, a little bit of like, okay, this is definitely like an alien place, and I should be careful. So I think that's a good way to start. Good way to start it. Sorry, the camera thing is still bothering me because it's literally every time we start the game uh, that happens. Let's see, Control F, target CY. Huh, why is it not finding the next one? Boy. Hmm. Oh, before it was finding things in other files, now it's only like finding it in here. Um, CY. So we're only changing it right there. Super confused. Look at CY is map height times 8 minus 128. You take the minimum of that and the player. Okay. And then CY goes from, it smoothly goes from where the camera is, where the camera should be. So where the camera should be is set correctly. So it's the original CY value that is not set correctly. Why is that? Well, it's the right code. Code. So, and camera is set after locate player. So seems like it shouldn't be an issue. Oh, wait. Oh no. Oh, we really messed up our. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Okay, yeah. So this is. I'm glad I looked into this because this is all wrong. So we changed make animations instead of changing locate player. That's why the order was off. Um, okay, great. So now restart the game and the camera is on point. Okay, that was my bad. Delete this. Uh, so it's pretty funny. Somebody's joking that there is a Pico-9. So there isn't Pico-9, but there's a thing called Voxeltron that's made by the same people, and it's like Pico-8 but in 3D. So Voxeltron, I think. Voxeltron. So like just check this out, right? Like it's fully 3D, it's voxels. So voxel is a 3D pixel. And yeah, it's I don't know, it looks ridiculous. I might actually play with it at some point. Their designer looks really cool. Uh, why not use that? I don't know. It just seems like too much, you know. Guess I'm a simple person, you know. Two-dimensional. You know, if I could make game in one dimension, like I would do that. A humble streamer, just, you know, making money for my family. Um, all right, see you later. Let's see. So where were we? Okay, so we have a bit of nature, we have a bit of danger. Um, so there is a bit of a map we can build with just that. Um, and I'm thinking there could be like also like plants that kind of hang down, these kind of like vine-looking things that hang down, and again they might like snap at you or something like that. Uh, uh, Turn off my messaging. Vine. Okay, so something like this. And I don't know how to make it dangerous looking. Okay, maybe we're not gonna have that. But it looks nice. Just kind of nice background. So can leave that. Let's see what else. So last time I thought about maybe pushing the boulders. That seems like a little bit of too much work. Especially here, like it would be kind of weird. You can't move the if we have the boulder um, in the map space, right? So it's like a cell on the map, and if we move it, then it will erase whatever map cell it's gonna move to. So that's like an additional thing of maybe not wanting to do it. Also, I don't know, just moving boulders seems a little bit like too much like just other games. Turn off my like. I don't know how to turn off my messages. It's like it's not even on right now. What are you doing, Mac? What is happening? Whatever. Um, okay, but I think we did decide that at least for now, while I don't have any better ideas, the first chakra that you're gonna get will allow you to um, transmit the power. That's kind of what we did last time. So, sorry, not power, chi, transmit chi. So there will be a place, yeah, something similar to this place. Actually, let's see if we can copy. I think we can just copy this. No sprites marked for moving. But oh, I think that kind of worked. Let's see, Control X. It said moved one sprite. Moved one sprite. Moved one sprite. But I don't see it moving. Okay, we can just kind of rebuild it here. Something like this. We have this. So I want the player to see this part first before they oops, that's too close. Put here. Before they know what they can do with it. Something like this. So you start the game, you hop around. So right now we can't get the power, but let's pretend we can't get this power. Maybe we don't even see it in the beginning. We're just jumping around. You know, we come here, we don't know what to do. Okay, it seems closed, but that crystal looks cool. Okay, we keep going. And then let's say, yeah, we like get to uh, that chakra. Oh yeah, we'll need to somehow fix maybe this jumping. Like it's kind of hard to fit into holes sometimes if you're not perfectly pixel aligned. That's something we can figure out. And again, just yeah, like running over a hole like this with not even trying. Probably not something you want the player to do. I'm thinking actually just making the player collision box 6 pixels wide instead of 8. I think that'll fix it, or at least make the problem a little less. Um, and like one of the things that looks weird, right, is if we're just standing like this, then yeah, it just looks odd. So okay, so let's say yeah, we get here, and this is our first chakra. So let's put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can have, oh, oops. Hold on, what happened? What did I do? Was this here? Okay. Oh, just save, reboot. Load gem. Oh, and if you want this file, by the way, it's I upload it to my Google Drive after every stream, and here I'll post the link in chat. In case anybody wants it. Okay, so let's go back. Move this here. Where's our map? Let's see, move this to, actually, let's erase it first and then move it. Just gonna mark this one as not used because we have it in the map somewhere. So if we just leave it black, it'll still show up on the map as black. So just mark it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you for the sub. And let's make them different colors. The first one is going to be green. Do we want to use a palette trick? This is actually one place where it might be pretty handy because unless we're going to make them look different, which maybe we should try a little bit. I think that would be fun. Yeah, well, okay, we'll make them look different. If they were all like this, then I think, yeah, just using a palette trick to change the colors would be a good move. Okay, so this one is going to be green. Then give you your power. Gonna give you your chi transmission. So let's keep this one. Like this. So we only have 2 shades of green, so just not many options for us. Do we leave it pink? We kind of take it to gray. How does this look? That looks okay. What if I just color it this? Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe just this. I kind of like that the circle is outlined. Okay, I think this is fine. Again, just a placeholder art for now. So we're gonna put it there. So you go there, you activate it, and you get the power. So now let's say you can see You can see the chi sources, and you can transmit energy. So I think, yeah, writing the code to see chi sources will be important because, um, if the map is like this and the player ran across here and they went up and nothing happened, right? So they didn't gain chi or anything. When they get here, they might not realize that they need to go back and try this thing out. But if they didn't see it before, now they see it, they might think that something is up and they should, go investigate. On this note, actually, one thing I want to add at some point is some kind of not a platform, but like not a button, but like a thing you step on that triggers something. I think that would be very easy to do for us and potentially kind of interesting. Like maybe you step on something and it transmits chi um, through a kind of relay, and then activate something else. So it could be one of those early things that kind of shows you how chi transmission works before expecting you to build your own relays and things like that. So let's see, wish list. Let's change my font to red. Adding to wish list. I don't know what to call it. Platform step trigger. Okay, so let's see. So we have some dangerous things, dangerous flowers. We avoid them. Come here, activate our first chakra, and then we go down, explore this thing. Now we can power up, open the door, get a crystal, whatever the thing we find there is, and continue on our journey. So after the first chakra, the second one is the one that's going to allow you to build relays. So that might be a good place to have, maybe have this platform thing. So let's implement that. So maybe some steps down. Let's see. So let's draw. Maybe copy this. So it's gonna be kind of in this natural area, so it's gonna look like a rock, but have a slightly different feel to it. So maybe it's flat. Something like this, but underneath it's like kind of smooth like this. So let's see how this compares. Um, Maybe like that, like this. No, it seems a little confusing. Okay, I think we raise it up, then we make a little bit of space here. Oh, dark gray is already used for the stone, so it's kind of confusing. Maybe like this. Let's see how that looks like. That looks okay, except for put this one here, maybe like this. It looks weird right now because it doesn't have a rock on the other side. And let's see, so, okay, so we're saying it's an energy transmitter. So when you step on it, okay, so when you step on it, it's going to become depressed. Pressed, just pressed. I think this needs to be here as well. Yep. Like this. You press it down. And it should activate something that looks like a relay. So something like this here. Um, like this. And uh, let's see, is this kind of too much? Just do this, for example. Kind of looks almost exactly like a relay. Kind of losing this like natural rock feeling, but maybe that's okay. Let's see if we can edit a little bit. This. What if we, yeah, I can just kind of erase it like that a little bit. Okay, so it still kind of has that relay feeling to it, but maybe a little less, but maybe like a bit more natural. The blue kind of stands out. The dark blue stands out too much here. Here it's on a black background, so maybe something like this. Let's try it. Yeah, yeah, I think that's clear that you're kind of supposed to step on it. And I mean, what else can a player really do here? So they're gonna jump on it or step on it. Um, it would be interesting if you have to jump on it specifically. But okay, so then it's gonna become pressed. It's gonna be a little weird to have this. Okay, all right, just a placeholder art. Don't worry about it too much. But it will kind of show up as if you're like hovering 1 pixel above the ground. So that's okay for now. Let's add the code for it. So I think a natural place to put it would be in process collisions, and I think we have something there already that's kind of similar. So process, so collision down. Well, I guess we don't, but we can. We can. Uh, okay, so if S is the sprite, so sprite 20, uh, my sprite's not really organized. I think that's okay for now. So pressure plate, I think that's what it's called. So it's called plate 20. So if the sprite that we're looking at is a pressure plate, then let's set it to the next one. So the next one is the pressed one. And yeah, it should have like this energy thing. Or maybe a white one. So kind of like this. So you press it, it turns on. Make it kind of more clear like this, that being powered. And it's now an energy source. So the tricky thing is, okay, so we have the table, right? We have the list of energy sources. So we will need to add this to the energy source. And then when you step off, we'll need to change the sprite, and we'll need to remove it as the energy source. I'm wondering if we still want to have, do we want to do it on collision, or do we want to have a separate list of, like a separate list of these pressure plates? And we can loop through the pressure plates, check if they should be pressed, handle the logic there. There's one thing we'll need to do, right, is, okay, so we need to check. I mean, yeah, basically there's no other way. Because at some point we just need to check for a given pressure plate that's on, does it need to go, is it no longer pressed? Okay. So I'm not going to do this here. list of maps. So we're gonna have plates. I'll make plates. Gonna be very similar to this. It's not a flag in this case, it's just a specific, right? So if S is SPR plate, then plates, we're gonna add this thing. Okay. And then in update, move player, update plates. For plate in all plates, we need to check if this plate should be pressed. Let's see. So go back to our collision thing. So here we're doing things slightly differently. We need to check if the player is kind of right above the plate. So if you'll see, so let's separate the kind of the collision in X and in Y. So in Y, so the player is right above our plate, so PLT MY times 8, the pixel coordinate, so -8 gives us kind of this like one cell up, and that should be the player. So dy is that. And I'm wondering if we're going to run into any floating point issues because py might not be might not be an integer. I think it's always going to be an integer here because when we fall, when we hit the ground, right? The trick that we do is we align the y position to a map boundary. So I think it's going to be okay. So and then px is so it needs to be greater than the left, something like needs to be greater than the plate x coordinate, and so the player's right side is greater than the plate's left side, and um, okay, okay. Oh, okay, I think we need to kind of separate like is x1 is y So here we're gonna check if the player's leftmost side is over the plate. So this is just px. So if px is greater than plate's x location and px is less than plate's right location, then we have basically the player is stepping on the plate with kind of the left portion. Do we have any constants for? I don't think we have any constants for like player width or anything. Yeah, we're just assuming it's 8 by 8. Okay, and then the same thing here, literally the same thing, but we're checking the player's right side. So +7 because that'll give us like the right pixel. Okay, so if is x1 or is x2, so one of those conditions is true, and is y, then we have a collision, and we'll set plate to um, to this, and otherwise it's just a normal plate. Okay, so assuming we wrote this correctly, what we should see is that when we're over the plate, it changes, and when we're not, it changes back. Wow. And sure enough, when we jump over it, it's not pressed. Pressed, pressed, and pressed. Very cool. Very, very cool. And then let's see, did we set the right flags? Okay, so this is now a power source. Correct, but we're not adding it to powerables. So let's keep track of whether or not it is powered. Or right now, since I renamed power to chi, it's now chiables, which makes no sense, but okay. So basically, well, here we can just call it down. Is it down? No, it's not. So so right here, it should be down. So we can check if the plate is not down, then we actually need to do this stuff, right? We need to change the sprite, and we need to add to chi sources. And let's see if we can get away with just adding this, right? We're gonna add the same object because it already has a maxim y. It's all that the power source expects. And this will allow us to do this neat thing that so if we're not pushing on the plate, the plate is down, then we need to update it. So we change the picture, and now we delete it from the sources, right? Because otherwise, kind of how do we know which object to delete? We'll have to go maybe search through all of them, find the one with our maximum y, delete that. That's pretty complicated, but this way it's pretty simple. Right, and so yeah. Oh, and I forgot to set plate is down, and now plate is not down. But yeah, sure enough, we see our hair change, so we get energized from that. That's cool. Then what I want to show to the player is this kind of transmission, relay transmission thing should happen. So let's say there is a bit of a hole right here. Something like this, and there's a, let's say, a door like this, and this relay. So we can put the relays there. Maybe that's fine for now. We want to kind of make them look natural. Maybe we should change it. We can have like kind of similar to the pressure plate, but without the pressure plate, just the relay embedded in a rock. We can have an image for that. But right now this is fine. So we can't do anything here, right? We can try to like, oh, get the power from here, run to the door. But it's like very clearly that we can't make it there in time. So we put we push the plate, it transmits the power, and it opens the door. Right? That's super clear. It's super clear what happens. Okay, so actually here, I think right now, even if we didn't have my brother says that this game inspired him to do some qigong, so that's great. Um, oops. What I wanted to do is okay, right? So we can get to the door. Um, we can get to the door before, like in theory, we don't need the relay. We just need to be powered up, and then we can open the door ourselves. So the thing here is we can do this, right? So in the beginning, you go here, you're like, wait a minute, I can't open this door. Also can't get out. Let's see. Something like this, maybe. Or wider. Okay. So, I see a door and go through it. Okay. But I see the pressure plate. So I'm like, okay, well, it would be nice if I could get there. Go, 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 do things, do things. Oh, oh, great. So now the door is open. And now I understand how to transmit chi through a pressure plate. Pressure plate feels a little too mechanical. Like this is, I think, one place where it would be cool to replace it with some kind of natural living thing. Like it's some kind of plant, and like if you step on it or something, it kind of, produces this energy. Okay, so yeah, so now I can go back and I can continue my journey. Cool. Okay, I like that. Um, so we can actually cross this off our wish list because we have it not from step trigger. But let's add it to game mechanics. So that's something we should keep in mind that we have. Um, so hopefully we can find more uses for this mechanic, more uses for pressure plates, and then really reuse the components, um, make a really tight game. All right, so what else is on our wish list? So green plants, alien flowers. So we already have a little bit of that, and game dragon. Yeah, we'll give that on the wish list for now. Okay. We pick up resources. Um, One quick thing, maybe let's track what chi level we're on. We have player chi. That just kind of tracks both whether we're like powered up or not. But I think more of like just code level. We're on level 0 to start with, and when we're on level 0, we cannot. Well, one, we can't see chi in this world in general. And it's something that I can figure out how to do visually later, but for now, okay. But yeah, so on level 0, you can't uh, check if the player should have energy from nearby sources. So if level is less than 0, we don't do this. So right now, yeah, you can't get the power. But when you activate this chi, so I guess you shouldn't be able to go through it, or should you? Is it like a background thing? No, I think it's more of like a this our power orb, chi orb thing. You can step on it. Uh, there should be active and inactive version of that. Mm, yeah, like we definitely should show this this orb inactive, and then when you touch it, it's active. Um, I'm thinking of doing it with like particle effects later. I'm not sure we need a separate sprite. Um, we might do a palette shift. like on the sprite. So like maybe right now, something like can't. Okay, never mind. I can't make like this bright triangle dark green because then if I want to change, well, I can change all dark green into green, but then it's like too monochromatic or something. We can get clever about it. There's like very clever ways to use the palette, but it's not important right now. What is important is that if we touch this, then we get a level. So maybe right now we want to. You know what? I'm gonna treat it as a crystal. I wanna reuse the code we have. So if I just mark it as a pickup and I go to do pickup, what I can do is I can say let's see, sprite chakra. I'm gonna call it one. It's not accurate, like fourth chakra. I'm gonna call it chakra one because it's the first one we find. So the sprite for that is 56. Actually, here we can just go sprite chakra 56 and then do offsets from that. That might be easier. So for now, I'm just gonna check this. So if this is true, then level 1. And then, for example, we can do, it's the next one, and we're level 2. And what we can do here, so right now we always remove it, but we can actually just leave it. Yeah, so we're not gonna copy paste this 7 times. So maybe let's do for I and 0 through, keep forgetting Lua includes the last item. It's gonna be 6. And then we're gonna say, so let's have a flag. So erase is true, and if erase, then we set it to 0. But here we're gonna say if s equals sprite crystal plus I, then level equals I plus 1, and erase is false. We're not going to erase it. We're going to leave it there. Okay. Now I think we should get our level. Oh, no, it ended up being erased. If s equals, checker. Presumably we got the level. Oh, yep, and now sure enough we can get powered up. Sweet. Sweet. And this is something again we can show with some kind of effect, like part of particle effect that like gets activated. We get activated. Um, Actually, maybe you should only be able to get like powered up from chakras. Because if you can get powered up from any power source, that might be a little too much. Like it might be hard to do puzzles and like why do you need to build relays when you can kind of transmit power? But if you can only do it from chakras, then that very naturally limits where these puzzles can exist. Like here, for example, it would make a lot of sense. You get powered up and you jump back to this door and you open it. Um, so let's mark this as a power source as well. Well, okay, we'll mark it as a power source for now, just to have our effect. So we can kind of play around with it. Right now it's just a little too far. Like I don't think, yeah, can't quite get there. But we can move it a little closer to here. Oh, because we didn't pick it up. Okay, boom. Boom, got it. So we don't need this one. So this we can save for later. Um, the hole right now suggests that like you should like maybe if you can fall through it, then you make it to the door in time. But no, you can't. Um, oh, hmm. It will also be kind of interesting, right? If when this wasn't pressed, the relay started losing power, but like slower than they gained it. I just feel a little lazy writing all that code. Um, and the only thing we gain here right now is you would need to, run, make it through the door in time. But then the door is closed too, and I'm like, wait, how you like? Well, maybe it's closed, but then, like, you like get uh the build relay ability, so you come back and you like build your relays, connect this door to another power source. So um, that actually could be kind of cool. Like you get here and the door closes behind you, and you're like, am I gonna be okay? Am I gonna be okay? I don't know. I went through it, the door closed. I hope I did the right thing. That would be kind of that's an interesting feeling. Uh, but then we can't do my two relay trick. Well, actually, no. That's not true. You can do the two relay trick if there's this delay, right? So you build a relay, destroy the relay, the first one is still powered on, let's say for 2 seconds. So 2 seconds is enough to move over, build another relay. This new relay gets the power from the one that's still active. Then you go destroy it. So even if it goes inactive, destroy it. Hmm. So what I could do, okay, actually, okay. Here, what I could do is I can say when something gets chi, right? When it gets this power, I'm gonna store where it got this power from, like from which cell. And then when I update my, chiables, powerables, I can check, does that cell from which you've gotten your power. I'm using like all the three words: energy, power, chi. Okay, but does that cell still have power? And if it doesn't, then we enter this kind of cooldown mode where, let's say, for 4 seconds we still have power, but after 4 seconds we lose it. That seems like it wouldn't require that much code, and we won't need to write any fancy algorithms, and it would allow us to both have this cool mechanic of, depowering. So like here, then you would need to raise. Okay, I like that. And you can still do the two. I'm gonna write this down by the way, so I don't forget. The two relay trick puzzle. Okay, let's do that. Let's try it out. It makes sense, right? Like she shouldn't stay in relays. So it both makes sense, and it gives us new cool puzzle, and it's not a lot of code. Um, and I think it would be useful for like visual effects anyway, because right now kind of relays don't visually connect with the power sources. And I was thinking of having like little particle effect, and for that we would need to know where the power is coming from anyway. So let's try this out. Okay, so make powerables, make power sources. Okay, so how does this work right now with power transmission? Data names. I'm gonna move this out of update names. It's like a really big part, but it's its own thing. And actually, since we're doing these things, Yeah, we can just refactor that. So new f update and names. We can even pass new f here, and then move player, update plates. Let's update power. So update and names takes new f and update g. And then we can, the nice thing is that we can untab all this code. Gives us one extra character at the end of the line. Okay, so how does our logic work right now? So we go through all powerables and then we basically check one of the neighbors has chi. If it does, then we have chi. We also check the player. And we have chi, and if we have chi, we add okay. So we don't change. We don't change any tables here. We just change the sprite, and that's the thing that that ends up transmitting the power in this like chain effect. Okay, I think that's fine. So what I want to say is the Chibo will have a source which is nil in the beginning, right? So here, when we go through all the Chibos, so right now we check, does it have chi by checking the flag? That's fine. So if it doesn't have chi, okay, so now if it has chi, we can actually have some logic. And this logic is, okay, if we have chi, it's because we got it from somewhere, right? So I'm just writing this assert to kind of almost like think out loud with code. This means that source is not null. That's what it means. So now we can check, does the source have chi? The source has chi if its sprite power source mx power source my. Yeah, I guess I assume that source points to like an object table. So if the source sprite has this flag, then we still got it, right? We still got power. So if we have it, then I want to say like our chi is max chi. So we have max player chi. But let's also have max chi for like an object. So how many seconds do we want? Well, I think 1 second is fine, right? So 1 times 30. 30 frames per second, 30 frames, 1 second. Okay. So max chi. Okay, so power chi, max chi. Okay. But if we don't, it's cleaner to just write it out like this. Like a few more lines, but it just reads nicer. Then we start losing chi. And if power chi is less than 0, then we actually lose our chi, so we're no longer powered. What does this mean? This means that power source is now null again. And as chi is false. So here actually it's not else, it's going to be if we don't have chi. Because let's say we lose it here, right? Like we have chi, but then we lost it because we ran out of it. We could, in theory, regain it from a different neighbor or from a player. So I think this logic checks out. We want to do this delayed thing. Here, I don't think we need to right now. Don't worry about it. And we need to set sprite. So mx and y. Power s, I think, is set here. Yeah, it's basically the sprite that we have right now, but the non-powered version, so -1. This is how we update parables. So if we have the power, check all that. don't check neighbors, check player, edit. I think that's everything. Oh, no, it's not everything. Hold on. When we get the yeah. So right now okay. So right now we check neighbors by looking at the map cells. And let's say we do find it, right? Like neighbor has G, so we should have G. But now we actually need to store who that neighbor is. Kind of like a linked list. We actually need to find that neighbor. Um, so we have a few options. So we can either now iterate through all like powerables and power sources. Oh, it's a bit complicated. And find the one that's at this, or kind of from the beginning instead of doing this dx/dy iteration. We can iterate through powerables and power sources. A tricky thing we can do is we can set, we can change like chiables, like power sources, G sources, and powerables, chiables to not just be a list, but actually be a map where the key is the position. Like the map position of the object. And then here, if we find it, right, dx dy, let's say we find it, we can compute the position, the map position, use that as a key, and then find the object. We didn't have the player. Hold on, how would this work with the player? Player. Oh man, okay, maybe this is more complicated than I thought it would be. Let's think about it. Well, okay, so one thing we can do is we can add the player to our sources. And that way, we wouldn't have to treat like the players differently than just like other G sources. Like we wouldn't need a special code if we're just iterating through all the G sources. And if we need to point to our power source, then and it's this kind of like object. It's this object. Then it then the player kind of has to be that object, right? We have to somehow point to the player. Okay, guess we're doing it. So checking neighbors. Okay, so here we're gonna iterate through all power sources, which hopefully shouldn't be too many, right? It's like in the beginning, it's only the things that are actually sources of power. There's not very many. When we activate our chains, then it becomes more of them. And if we feel like this part gets slow, then we can do my trick of, using the key, the like map key, speed that up. I don't like it though. Don't like it. We're basically like writing an n-squared algorithm right now. We're gonna do that without the trick. Um, if we use the trick, we can leave the player as is. No, we can't because that part just has to change. So let's maybe do that part right now. So data names, to destroy, to build, to pick up the plates, get player chi, check if player should have energy from nearby sources. Okay, so here we can say previous player chi, player chi. So well, actually we can do it right before we change it. So if player chi right now is non-existent, then we need to add player going to be our like object. So when we update the player, we need to set a max. Okay. Okay, so we're always gonna update this pseudo object that has our position in the map coordinates. So get player chi, check if player should have energy from nearby source. Okay, so if we don't have energy right now, but now somehow we got energy, we should add, was it chi sources? Yeah, chi sources. We're gonna add our player object. And likewise, player chi. Gonna say if it's 1, then we're gonna lose it right now, right? We're gonna go -1, we're gonna be at 0. We're gonna lose it, so we need to delete from chi sources our player object. Okay. So now, oh, okay, so now here, when we check the player and it has chi, has chi, also set chi source as a player. And here we can set chi source as something. And here if we have chi, well, we're gonna kind of queue up the change to the sprite. But for now, we do need to just modify power source, right? Chi equals source. Chi source. And we have chi. And modify this to, yeah, set our max chi. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Almost there, I think. The trick is here. This is the source that we're gonna check. Oh. So right now we're assuming that the source is a map thing. Okay, so this is definitely not gonna work with the player. Yeah, we need to rethink this. Not gonna work with a player because the player is not part of the map. Like we could maybe do two different things. Something like if the type of the power source is player, we do one thing, and if it's uh, this neighbor cell, then we do a different thing. It's a bit dirty, but might be faster. Wondering if we're like doing this premature optimization. I would just hate to rewrite this code and then it does turn out to be slow and we kind of have to go back to what we have right now. So I kind of want to just stick with it. Okay, so what I want to do here is almost say, how would this work in Lua? Like, is this a thing? Okay, it's a table. Yeah, but okay, well, that's fine. Uh, okay, yeah, so we can do this thing. So Q source is going to be dx/dy. Um, yeah, it's a little nasty, a little dirty, but I think it will do the trick. So it's either player or it's the delta from our position to the neighbor. We don't actually need this PO, like we can just say player. That's a It's either player or it's this map. This list. Okay, let's see what that might look like. If we have chi, then we know that we have a source. There's two sources. It's either the player, so if power source is player, and let's see, this Lua crash if I try to compare these things. Unexpected simple. No, it just false. Okay, so that's good. So if power source is the player, then we have power if the player has power. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Otherwise, we need to do this logic. So our power comes from neighbor cell, and it's, let's see, mx plus dx. Mx, so it's mx plus my plus. And dx in this case is the power source 1. Again, remember that Lua list indices start with 1. I think that's it. I think we got it. PICO, right? PQI. Yeah. Tracking player chi. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. Attempt to index global POBJ. Well, we don't need it anymore. POBJ. Oh, because we misspelled it. But don't need this. Don't need this. And I think that's the only place we had it. Okay, so what do we expect to see now? The biggest thing is that when we push that lever, like it should oh wait, somehow I was able to, yeah, this is pretty annoying. Okay, yeah, you can get it. And okay, and so now our power works here. That's great. Oh, okay. So we have a bug. So we're still modifying the sprites. So why is that? Let's see. Everything. Oh, nope. Okay. So what happens? What happens is that it loses power, right? As it gets power from us, we lose it, and then it loses it. So what happens? So we have chi. The power source is player. And now source has chi is false. So source has chi, false. Then we start losing chi. And our chi drops to 0. What we want to do is say source is no, and we change the sprite. Oh, but that's okay. So this is kind of where it gets weird because oh man, okay, did not think through this, but oh, yeah, okay. So one part of the door loses chi, right? And now we change it. Then immediately now we're saying, okay, it doesn't have chi. We check the neighbors, and guess what? We do have a neighbor that has chi. So now suddenly, like, we should, yeah, we do have chi, and power s. So let's here, okay, so here let's say s equals s minus 1. I just want to check. I think that's what's going on. So, okay, so it's still powered on, and I think, yeah, that's basically because it's it's drawing power from itself. Loses power, but then immediately checks its neighbor. And even if we, let's say merge these together, it doesn't do it on the same frame. It could just do it just as easily on the next frame. It's not guaranteed. And this is going to be an issue everywhere, like with relays, everything. This is where like maybe it's almost easier to write an actual like honest to goodness kind of search algorithm, like a breadth first search to deal with this. Oh man, spent way more time on this than I wanted to, but I think and I hope it'll kind of pay off. Yeah, and let's see, is there how many tricks can we layer on top of each other to get this to work? That's the question. Okay, what we could do is say something like this. So let's say the first relay source is the pressure plate. Then the second relay right now has its source as the first relay. But what if it actually pointed to the pressure plate instead? So in that case, when the pressure plate um, loses its energy, we would wait a little. All the relays would kind of start powering down and then turn off at the same time. So in theory, we could still have our, like this run if the power down is long enough for us to make it. And we could edit the map, maybe make the run a little shorter. It basically has to be like you shouldn't be able to make. Let's see, do we think we still get the power? Yeah, we get the power from the pressure plate. So you shouldn't be able to make it with being charged up from the plate. But just from the relays. An alternative is to say something like, hmm, I'm going to say something like, remember what time we got activated, and then we like stagger our delays or something. Okay, might be too complicated. Another idea is, okay, what if we have two pointers? One is to the original power source, and another is to the thing that we got the power from. So how does help us? Then we can say Hmm. Yeah, what am I trying to say here? So let's say the original power source is us, so we're off. So that means like the, okay, so let's go in this case. Okay, so we push the thing, we leave. So the first relay should say, okay, my original power source is off, and the thing I got the power from is off. So I should definitely, I should definitely go down, right? Then it turns off. Then when it runs the check, oh, like, can I pick up a power from somewhere? It will see that there is a relay next to it that's on. So what can we add to say that actually kind of like, you know what, you shouldn't. Well, so if we get access to that object, which unfortunately here we don't, but let's say we do, we get access to the power boat, we can ask, before taking power from it, we can ask, hey, is your original power source on? So that would work, I think, right? So we're a relay we just turned off, but there's a relay under us that's on. We're about to, we want to check, should we draw power from it? We can if it's a original, not even original power source. We can just ask, yeah, is the thing where you got your power from on, which is us? And the answer is no, it's not on. So we can't draw power from it. It's almost like a cycle detection, actually. Yeah, almost like we're detecting a cycle in a linked list. But for that, we need access to the object. Yeah. Okay, let's just think through, like, what would be the super clean way to write this? Like, imagine we don't have any of this. Would it be so bad if all of them just turned off at once? Ah, man, really would love that effect of like them powering down. Just one by one, just like they turn on. That would just look really cool. Okay, all right. One last trick, and then if this doesn't work, yeah, I think we'll have to rewrite it, but let's give it a shot. So let's do my map trick. Lord help us. Okay, so these guys. Um, uh, so Chibo's going to be uh, keyed by this kind of special map index. Well, let's okay. Let's see what that might look like. So let's say here's a map, add a value, let's say I, and also this is the optional index, and we want it, let's say, at position 8. If we use numbers as indices, it thinks that it should be a list, and they have to be contiguous. We can't. Uh, oh, hold on, we won't do that. What if we just do this? Uh-huh. Wait, 0. Oh, because uh, mod print count. Hey, why is it 0? That's very strange. Still 0. Maybe it's only for lists. But let's see if we can iterate, right? So for each, no, it's more like for KV compares A to print K and to print B. And okay, so I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Let's save. Just save. Okay, so instead of just adding it, we're gonna put it at this index. And the index is simple. It's gonna be like this. So map width is 128 plus y. So pretty sure this should fit. Right, so map W is 128, and max is also 128. Oh, but actually negative is fine, right? So yeah, actually it's fine. So okay, so cuboles at I is this. Great. So let's continue. Change this. Right. Oh yeah, there was a bug, by the way. Yeah, so it's actually good that we're kind of factoring this. So in O, so instead we're gonna do pairs. Pairs. We have this I. We have this power. What is this? This is destroy. Um, oh, actually, we don't need to do this anymore because we can just figure out I ourselves like this. And then we just delete like that. So save this a little bit of code. And let's check it here as well. Okay. 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 Let's see. Hold on, it's still there. Like del, but remove the item from table T at index I. Three, four, two. Delete. Why doesn't this delete things? I'm missing something about low maps. Delete item and table low. Setting the keys value to no is the accepted way of removing an item. Okay. Sure. Sure. Maybe we should just have this helper then. Okay. So let's continue. Pairs. I do. Okay, so this is the meat of the thing. See if we can wrap this up by 4. Maybe a close one. Okay. Okay, has chi, blah 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 blah. Power source is the player. Then blah 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 blah. So the thing is right here. So right here, uh, uh, let's see, how does it work? Should be no. Okay. Oh, okay. So if neighbor has chi, then we now need to check for this kind of special condition that, let's say it's like a relay that actually has power but shouldn't have power because, it's like power source was lost. So let's do like find able at mx plus dx and y plus dy. So we're gonna try to see if there's a uh, g object there. And if it's not nil, then we found it. If it is nil, then presumably like what happens when you delete? Also, one thing here is, it could be like the actual power source, right? Hold on, did I make things more complicated than they have to be? What if I'm going to run this right now? What if all I had to do was say, like, let's go back to that idea that each G object has two pointers, one to the thing that it got its G from, and one to the, let's say, the original Chi source. So when we check if we should get chi from a nearby object, we're going to get chi from it if it has chi and its power source has chi. So when the power source is turned off, what will happen is the very first kind of child of that will look at its source. So one, it's definitely like it's not that the source is off. Like none of the things can get chi because that condition will fail. The first child is going to look at its chi source and it's going to say, okay, that's off. I'm going to start losing chi, and then I'm off. And then the next child is going to do the same thing. Okay, so let's save this as and then load our original gem. So where were we here? We were chibos, make chibos. So kind of undo everything. Undo. Change my mind. And we have source, and uh, we have chi source. Let's say the original source, or maybe just call it like OG source. And we have a normal source. Actually, this should be 0. The chibos don't have any chi. Sources do, but that's separate. Like sources just always have chi. Okay. Okay. So we have OG source and we have source. Great. So here we can say, okay, if we don't have chi, check neighbors. Oh man, oh. We still, okay. Okay. I think I'm just actually really getting tired towards the end of the day. Problem is that we don't know what the object is, right? Right here. We don't know what the chi object is. So we know who we got. Well, right. So we can look at the map and we can see that there's a sprite has uh, that has the flag that it has chi. We don't have access to the object right here. We do need our map. Okay, I think we do need our map. Okay, undo. Go back to the fork. Okay, so I think the logic is almost there. If we don't have chi, let's look at the neighboring cells. We can only get chi from power sources, Chibos, and the player. That's it. Nothing else. So when we find something that has a neighbor that has G, right? And we try to find it in Chibos. So if we don't find it, if it's no, then then it's just a power source, and that's okay. So then, so neighbor G is true, and it can be true. But if it's a neighbor power source and it's Chibo, so now we need to check if neighbor is, so we know that it's on. So we need to check its original source. So that's where, okay, so I'm kind of combining the two ideas, right, that we're kind of playing with. We need to check if neighbor's OG source is on. So we don't care Okay, no, we still need both. Okay, that's fine. So there's OG source, there's source, and then our G is 0. Okay, so let's come back to that part later. Okay, so then all we have to do is ask okay, so we got this power object, and we're gonna get the OG source, and we need to ask, basically, neighbor G is us asking if there is G, if this object has G. And this could be either player or uh, or a map couple. And the logic for that is basically this. So if the obj is player, then we return this. And otherwise, um, otherwise we return the obj's coordinate. We get the map sprite at the OBJ. From the OBJ, we get the map coordinates, get the source sprite, check if the source sprite has the flag, and return that. Clear as odd. Okay. No, I think it's getting pretty understandable. So hasG. Oh, old source hasG. This hasG, we kind of already use it as a variable here. Pum, pum, pum. So we can use this here. Source hasG. The source is power source. Great, we use it. My God, oh, this is also a variable. Woo. There we go, problem solved. So, okay, so let's read this part too. If we have G, does the source have G? And if it does, then we're A-okay. Otherwise, we start losing G. And where is it? OG? OG source. OG sources no. Sources no. We don't have G anymore. And we change the sprite. Okay. So now, let's say we don't have G. We're gonna check the neighbors. Hello, neighbors. Do we have G? Can I get the sprite? Check it from the sprite. Then if the neighbor has G, then we're gonna try to find the corresponding Gable at that map location, right? So mx plus dx and my plus dy. And if we found it, we the neighbor has G if the neighbor's OG power source has G. Yep. Okay. So now we're not storing the x, we're actually storing of the real coordinates and y dy. Player we also need to say what the OG source is. And let's see, in this case, OG source is player. And in this case, OG source is our neighbors. So if the neighbor has it, then OG source is neighbor's OG source, right? So we're just copying it. Okay. Um, so origin source is nil. Set it here, and I'm gonna say if uh, if origin source is not nil, then we can use that. If it is nil, all it means is that our origin source is origin source. Okay, let's see. Line 109. For some reason, sometimes the find here breaks. Oh, well, maybe I'm just pressing wrong keys. Go to line. Like a shortcut. Expected symbol. 109. Where is that? $109. Let's see. This is where like using a row editor would be much simpler. But where is the fun in that? Let's see. Here we go. Uh, okay, where is it? What they had it. Copy paste, undo, redo, search, repeat. Oh, jump to line number, Control L. 109. Look at that. Woo, flying. There we go. I was right there all along. Attempt to perform arithmetic on a global map W. No value. Sure. Sure. Because it has an underscore. That's why. Okay. Okay. Well, so now we're running. And what was all of this for? Let's see. Got the power. Okay. And update G line 211. Attempt to go global has G. Right, because we renamed it. Control L 211. Look at me go. Has G. I think it's called source has G. There we go. Uh, okay, cool. So that turned on, right? That turned on, and it turned off. Okay, so we have something working. The thing that didn't work is now it didn't transmit the power. I think now it transmitted the power because they kind of just all things got it from me. Right. So yeah, so here it doesn't work. Okay, let's check it out. So it doesn't have G. Let's see. OG source is no. Okay. So we get things. Get the sprite. We get the neighbor G. If the neighbor has G, which should be true in the case of in a case where we look directly at like a power source, G source. So it's true. We try to find G, and we're not gonna find it. So neighbor G should still be true. Now has G should be true. Now G source should be set. Oh, um, we don't have G. So now this gets pretty simple, which is true. Uh, and, okay, go. Let's go immediately check if this works. Whoa, whoa! This is so okay. An added benefit is that if you stop pressing, it stops sending the power. Wow, can't believe I got this working. Wow, and it's not totally ridiculous by the end of it. I still wouldn't be surprised if we end up rewriting the code, but um, in its own way, it was kind of fun to try to stick with like the map coordinates. Let's see. So it's now going away one by one, um, two by two. Oh, because it skips, right? So diagonally, and again diagonal jump, and done. Woo! That is hotness. Okay, so is that really a second? Oh, it's being checked every random frame. So a second actually should be like this. By the way, let's check this part. Ooh, we have to be careful here because, right? Look at the, like, and now, oh, and we're stuck. Whoa. Okay, that made it worth it. That that is cool. That is cool. We can get trapped. That's great. That is actually super great. And it's extra great because um, so let's do this part, right? Oh, actually I have to hold it. So now I'm running, 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 running. Oof, I made it. Okay. So made it just in time. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why is it XG? 7. This is literally the only thing that I changed. Huh, what was the issue? Okay, so maybe there's a bug, maybe not. Looks like it's working right now. And so what I was saying is the extra cool thing about this, right? So being trapped in that little prison, if you don't kind of escape it immediately when the door closes, is now when you come down here, when you press that, you pressed the pressure plate, the door opens, you run, you get there, the door closes, and you're not sure now if you're trapped. Like there's somewhere to go here, but you're not sure you've made kind of the right call. And that's, I think, where like good map design should help, um, where you should feel like, wait, did I just screw myself over? Or, and you can always reset, right? Like it's not, and I've talked about this in a previous video, like not like reset that level, but I think you can always just respawn here in the beginning. Um, but or maybe you like respawn at your last chakra point or something. Yeah, like maybe that's like a save point. That actually is very reasonable. It's like a save point. Um, might be hard to do with buildables, but let's see. So okay, so this means we kind of don't want to. I'm just trying to prevent this bug, but I think doing it like this is not really preventing it as much as just working around it. So let's leave it. Let's leave the bug for now. Have some ideas on how to fix it, but not gonna do it today. This is so fun. Like, this was so worth it. Oh, there's some bugs in there for sure. For sure. For sure. So now we know that there's definitely a bug here. Okay, well, I'll fix it sometime. Probably not gonna do it during a video stream, but I'll fix it before the next one, and I'll let you guys know what's up. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this. Hope you learned something. Hope you had a little bit of fun. And I'm gonna take some time off for the holidays, but I'll be back maybe on the week this weekend. So like December 26th, 27th. But if not, then definitely on Monday, which is I think December 27th. So yeah, see you then.